Oh boy, we made it. Shout out to everyone who's stuck around. Let's get into it all right now. We're going to start to take a look at this matchup against the Commanders, the storylines heading into it, some injury news that came through just as I was hopping on, and we'll talk about it all right now. You already know the vibes. Drop an SDS in the chat. Smash that like button. Let's go. Smash that like button if you haven't already. Love to see it. All right, I apologize for my tardiness today. Not intentional. This is one of the struggles of being an independent content creator. Is I don't have the media schedule. So uh, we were planning to go on at 2, and literally as I was about to get on here, Kyle Shanahan goes live. Good for Kyle, but I don't have the schedule. So we had to adjust a little bit on the fly. I'm still grooming myself, as you can see. We're just we're going along for the ride. And but it's all good because we got some good news out of today's presser. I need a good trim. Need all that good stuff. But let's hop right into it, shall we? Let's get into some of the news, some of the storylines heading into this game. I'm excited to get into some of these storylines because it's a little bit bigger than football. But before we hop straight into that, let's talk about some of the injury updates. Really, really big injury update. Let's start here. So, the man, the myth, the legend, Javon Kinlaw, per Kyle Shanahan, will be elevated from injured reserve and will play today against those commanders, excuse me. So that's fantastic news. We haven't seen Javon Kinlaw in a while, months, and obviously he had a pretty decent start to the season. Definitely had a nice preseason and training camp, but unfortunately just had the knee flare up on him. I think his last game was against Seattle. I don't believe he traveled to Denver, and we really haven't seen him since then. So this is huge. The San Francisco 49ers are going to have their starting defensive line for the first time since week 2, and we're talking about this unit that didn't have Eric Armstead until week 13. And around week 13, this was the best defensive unit in football. And they're continuing to get guys back. So that is absolutely big news. So we definitely love to see that. And we welcome Javon Kinlaw back. Did I say Sunday? Yes, I meant Saturday. I'm all over the place. It's the holidays. We're running around like crazy, getting our last minute shopping done. Kyle Shanahan and I have competing lives. So we're trying to work through it. You know the vibes. But again, appreciate all you guys for tapping in. What else we got? I think nope, wrong way. Dope graphic, by the way. This is what we're looking at for game statuses versus Washington. This is per Jennifer Lee Chan of NBC Authentic or NBC Sports Bay Area. No surprises to the players that are out. Jimmy Garoppolo out, Deebo Samuel out, but it does appear that Deebo Samuel will be good to go. I don't think he's going to be out too much longer. Again, I think it's been discussed by Kyle Shanahan that if Deebo Samuel was needed for this game, he would potentially be able to go. So no real big deal there. Defensive lineman Kevin Givens is out. We know he's dealing with a multiple week injury, and they have to be very cognizant of their injured reserves right now because they're already close to the max activations from injured reserve. So That's why we haven't seen guys like Jimmy Garoppolo go on injured reserve, Kevin Givens go on injured reserve. They've already had a lot of guys go on there and be activated off of it, and they only get so many activations. I believe it's 8, and I think Javon Kinlaw might make it 7. Don't quote me on that, but that's where I think it's at. We've also got some questionable players. We got a surprise questionable on here that popped up, and you could see him. He's on the screen. Our king, Jordan Mason, popped up questionable with a tight hamstring that I guess occurred in yesterday's practice. So that's brand new. Jordan Mason wasn't on the practice report prior to this, and unfortunately, Jordan Mason pops up. As we know, Jordan Mason has been an asset to the San Francisco 49ers, whether it's on special teams or closing out games. So, especially kind of in this last stretch, too, you don't want to shut down Christian McCaffrey, but there's, I think, a sense of preserving Christian McCaffrey in a little bit. And, maybe divvying up carries a little bit more. I know I'm big on kind of spreading the carries out a little bit, but we're going to see if Jordan Mason will be able to be active for Saturday. If not, Ty Davis Price and, of course, Tevin Coleman could be available if he's not able to go. Charvarius Ward was seen at practice today. Ward has been dealing with the concussion protocol and all that type of stuff. He was wearing a blue non-contact jersey today, so he's still in the protocol. He's not officially cleared, but he's out there practicing with the guys. So I imagine he'll make it through the protocol here pretty soon, and Mooney Ward will be active. Defensive lineman Kerry Hyder, Tarvarius Moore, and Ambry Thomas are also questionable for this particular game. Kerry Hyder played against Seattle. I can't remember if he was questionable heading into that game, but he is questionable heading into the Commanders game. So that's pretty much it in regards to the injury stuff. I would say primarily good news. Obviously, the Javon Kinlaw news being the best of it all. Just being able to get him back. I imagine he'll be on a snap count. I don't think he'll come out here and play, 75% of the snaps. He's probably looking more at like a 35-40% snap share. Base down type work, get him in there on the run game, start plugging holes, doing Javon Kinlaw things, commanding double teams, and collapsing the pocket from the interior. So I don't anticipate a big game from Javon Kinlaw, but we just want to see the big boy out there. That's all we want. We just want to see him get out on the field and make it through. And if he can do that, I think that bodes well for the San Francisco 49ers as they are looking to make a deep playoff run. So that's absolutely huge. Not only injury news for, the 49ers, this will be the first time that this man right here, Chase Young, very good defensive end, will be playing for the Commanders and will be playing against us. So he's making his season debut. I believe he tore his ACL last year, and will be making his timely debut against the San Francisco 49ers. I'm really excited about this. Obviously, we know we got Trent Williams, and we're going to get into Trent here in a little bit because I think this is a big game for Trent as well. But Mike McGlinchey, I think this is a great test for Mike. I've been vocal about Mike McGlinchey the past 2 weeks. I know the narrative around Mike, and people feel extremely strongly about Mike in a certain way. But I got to give the man credit where credit is due. In the last 2 weeks, Mike McGlinchey has played above average football. He's played very good football. Not just for Mike, not just for, Mike standards. Like for if you're evaluating offensive linemen in the NFL, he is playing at an above average level the past 2 weeks. I attribute that to health. I think he's get his knee, as you guys remember, he injured his knee against the Falcons, and I really think it's been bugging him for a lot of the year. He just hasn't looked right in the last 2 weeks. He looks fluid. He looks like he's got the bend back. He looks like he's got the power back. Um, so I'm excited to see the matchup because I think the last time we've seen this matchup before between Trent Williams and Chase Young, and I believe Trent Williams came out on top. So not too concerned there. I'm excited to see what the measuring stick looks like because let's face it, the Commanders have a phenomenal defense. Uh, I think in the last month they're one of the top ranked defenses in the NFL. They have a phenomenal defensive line, whether it's Montez Sweat. Who are the other guys they got? Deron Payne. We talked about potentially trading for Deron Payne as a trade target. And then the other defensive tackle that they got, who's a stud, is it Allen? I don't know. I'm blanking on all their names, but they have a phenomenal defensive line. They've got a lot of talent in the secondary. They've got good line. Jonathan Allen, thank you. They've got a lot of good players. So this is going to be a good matchup. It's not going to be a walk in the park. So I'm excited to see how this offense manages this, especially starting up front. It's going to be a great test for the offensive line, who have been they played better last week, and I'm excited to see how they continue to transition that and see if they can continue to get the run game moving in the right direction. And hey, man, this is a big test. These are two elite speed rushers. Excited to see how Mike holds up against these two. Um, you know, I don't expect him to be flawless, but if we can get out of here, out of this game without, McGlinchey, being a liability, that's a win. So I'll just say this. You guys know, I personally like McGlinchey. Um, I've interviewed him twice. He's a great guy. I got nothing but love and respect for him. I understand the struggles that he's had on the field. But if we get 3 good games, promise me this, even if you don't like McGlinchey, I understand I'm in the kind of outlier realm of guys who like McGlinchey. If you don't like McGlinchey and you're absolutely entitled to your opinion, there's nothing wrong with that. But if you don't, and Mike has a good game against this defensive line, can we be nice to Mike McGlinchey for 1 week on the timeline? That's it. That's all I'm asking for. If we get 3 good games from Mike McGlinchey and the third game being against this vaunted defensive line, can we be nice to Mike McGlinchey on the timeline for 1 week? That's it. That's all I'm asking for. That's it. That's it. So we'll see. I think it's going to be a great test for this offensive line because they got some studs over there. So looking forward to it. Going to be a good matchup. Let's see what other stuff that we got before we get, because I want to talk about Trent, man. I want to talk about Trent. I think we made it through. Pro Bowl stuff came out last night, but there's nothing crazy there. Santa Trey Lance came out and hooked the offensive lineman up with Sonos sound bars. I also believe Trey Lance gave them a gift card to get some nice suits, and also I saw like a dope like Yeti cooler backpack. So Santa Lance showed up and blessed the offensive lineman with some gifts. I saw some other I saw some other tweet. I forget who it was from. This one is from Matt Barrows of The Athletic. I think the tweet that I saw was from Eric Branch. I could be wrong. It might be Cam Inman. Trying to find it. But I think they asked Jake Brendel what Brock Purdy had gotten them as a gift, and he said, "Oh, it's from Cam Inman." He said, "What did Brock Purdy get you?" And Jake Brendel said, "Wins." So, uh, but to be fair, Brock Purdy is living in an apartment with two other players on a not only a rookie salary, but the very last pick in the draft, which is probably on par with the undrafted free agent salary. So hey, not too worried about that um, at all. So we understand what time it is. It's the holidays, so you're seeing other quarterbacks around the league get guys gifts and all that type of stuff. But cool to see Trey Lance hook his offensive lineman up. And hey, the offensive lineman might need to hook Purdy up because let's face it, Purdy living in California on that type of check, man. I don't know if any of you. I know we got a lot of people outside the Bay, but for any of those who live in the Bay, oh, we know you could make you could make six figures and struggle to pay rent out here in the Bay. Um, so hey, we need our own lineman to help out Brock Purdy for Christmas. Because my man's struggling out here. He's probably sharing a studio apartment with two offensive linemen. So offensive linemen need to get Brock Purdy gifts. Hopefully, Brock Purdy didn't have to deal with any type of rookie dinners or anything like that because it ain't chill out here in the Bay. I promise you. I moved out of the Bay, but I'm still paying Bay prices. It's sickening. Um, absolutely sickening. My guy Patrick says, "Me and my wife making 100K plus, and we struggle and don't own a house, bro. Tell me about it. Tell me about it. What back when I was working in the event industry, I was a project manager, and then I was a what was I? Account executive. So I was making commission, and we were a what $60 million a year company, and we're selling $500,000 projects, $1 million projects, 2 million, $3 million projects. Um, my wife was working full time, didn't own a house, still struggling with rent. Dude, it's not cool out here, man. It is not cool out here. So, hey, to all my people living in the Bay, you got kids, you're buying Christmas presents. We know the struggle. So, shout out to you guys. Um, it's wild out here. So prayers up to you guys, man. If you're doing everything you can to, hook your kids up with, a nice Christmas or whatever it is, shout out to you because it's tough out here. It's tough out here. But that's what we get. So, anyways, uh, no more Bay Area housing discussions and how sickening it is to, you know, deal with all that. Let's talk about why this game is, I think, a little bit bigger than football. Now, uh, Trent, I think, was literally just asked about this. We got uh, a quote from Matt Barrows asking Trent Williams. He said, basically discussing the history that Trent Williams, as we know, Trent Williams was drafted by, at the time, the Washington Redskins and spent a large majority of his career with them. And then he went through that crazy situation, not only with his health, but in regards to the issues that he had with the organization. And this is Trent talking right now. Um, and he said, Trent Williams, this is from Matt Barrows. Trent Williams said he's not allowing his history in Washington to cloud his preparation this week. Quote, if you drove home looking in the rear view the whole time, you'd probably wreck. And that's just some philosophical, like, Trent is just wiser than all of us. So that's, I love that answer from Trent. But what is Trent talking about? What's Trent referring to? And if you guys, I was surprised to see. I posted this earlier today on Instagram. I was surprised to see that actually some of my followers weren't familiar with what Trent Williams had went through. So I just find it to be fascinating what he went through. And while I was like kind of going, because I saw this tweet, I remember Coach asked me about this. I saw this tweet like 3 weeks ago. So I've been sitting on this, like, I knew I was going to make this post during Washington week, and I was just waiting for it because I saw this tweet like 3 weeks ago. But this guy, Michael Phillips, uh, was talking to Bruce Allen, the former GM of the Washington Commanders, and this is what he had to say on Trent Williams. And he said, quote, we had a great relationship and we could have re-signed him. He's an elite player. And Dan said no. And we know who Dan is. Dan Snyder, owner of the Commanders, worst owner in all of pro sports. He goes on to say, he said, not a dime, fine him to the max. And that's what we did. So that right there just sounds terrible, right? Like, just the context of, you have this elite player, you drafted him, you apparently have an opportunity to re-sign him, but there there's a divide. And what's the divide over? And we'll get into what the divide is over, but the response from the owner is not, don't give him a dime. In fact, fine him to the max. And they did that. Well, let's go through about why Trent, might have been a little miffed. Uh, if you hadn't known, and again, I found this out because shout out to Trent Williams and some of his uh, people that they work with. They invited me to go to the premiere of his documentary last year. So it was actually almost exactly a year ago that Trent Williams had his documentary, The Silverback, the Trent Williams story. And they had this really cool premiere. The entire 49ers offensive line showed up. Trey Lance was there. Jeff Wilson was there. Josh Norman showed up. A lot of the players were at this premiere, and I had this really cool access to be able to go behind the scenes and shoot a bunch of stuff and be able to watch the documentary as well. But in the documentary, you learned that how crazy, like, this cancer scare he had was, and everything that went into it. And it's an insane story. Like, you don't have to listen to me tell it. I definitely would recommend you guys go check it out. and watch it. You can definitely watch this doc. I think it's on Prime right now. Uh, but when you listen to his story, so to give you just like a recap, he had a lump on his head and he went to go to the team doctors to get it checked out. His team doctors at the time for the Commanders, aka the Redskins, they just waved it off. It's not a big deal. No, it's just a cyst, not a big deal. So he went 6 years with this lump on his head that kept getting bigger. Um, and after he had to go outside of the organization to be able to get it checked, and later found out that it was a rare form of cancer. Um, so that I think started this whole thing. And like you can see here, they just talked about how they completely mismanaged Trent Williams' cancer, and they told him it wasn't serious and all this type of stuff. And he goes into length, about it um, in the documentary. But it's just wild to see how it all played out. Um, and so if you watch the documentary, man, it's freaking crazy. Like they had to like they had to open up like this much of his head. Like it's graphic. Like they show like the area like where they had to like open up his head to remove like it was intense. Like and so it puts into perspective Trent Williams not playing in 2019 because they got into this like disagreement, argument, or whatever. He got fined the whole time. He didn't play in 2019. And the San Francisco 49ers traded for him in the 2020 draft. And they got him for like what, a fifth round pick. It might have been a conditional pick that turned into a third, I believe. Um, but again, it's just a wild story. And it just reminds me and gives me a lot of appreciation for Trent, what Trent's been through, and these last 2 years that Trent has put in with the 49ers has been insane. But it's just crazy. Like this particular clip, I don't want to play it right now, but he just talked about how the doctors were basically telling him that, listen, you're probably not going to make this. And so at one point, they told Trent that you're probably not going to make it, and that you need to get your stuff in line and get everything figured out. And thankfully, Trent beat it. He beat it, but and I respect Trent. He absolutely had the right attitude about it all, especially with like what he said today. Like, there's no point in stewing on it and letting it linger for that long or anything like that. But it's just remarkable that Trent Williams made multiple Pro Bowls with a rare form of cancer. And just kind of the situation that transpired with that organization. Like, just want to, shout out Trent for what he went through and, gets me like, gets me hyped up, gets me emotional. Like, you know, seeing that tweet a couple weeks ago, like literally made my blood boil because it's like Trent, I don't know Trent. I I feel like I have a sense of who Trent is, and he seems like such a very genuine human being who cares about his people, takes care of his people, has does a lot of outreach in the community, and is just genuinely a good football player, a good teammate, a good person. Like, so, you know, yeah, we might make more of this now than he has because this won't be the first time that he's played Washington. You go back to the 2020 season, uh, Trent has already played. Uh, Dude, Brian, no one cares. Go away. I'll block you for you. um, Going back to the 2020 season, they've already played. Uh, so that might not be as raw, but it's still a factor. And I'm excited. I'm excited for Trent to be able to come back, play this team again. Also, too, uh, not only is this we like revenge games. Not only is it a revenge game for Trent, but also don't forget good old Kyle Shanahan. You remember Kyle? Kyle coached that team, and they have beef. Um, Kyle kind of spoke about it today too, uh, and said, we'll never forget about what happened there, but we don't almost like the same thing. Um, with kind of like what Trent said, like we're not going to focus on things that happened in the past, but we're also not going to forget they happened. Um, so you know, in my head, on the outside looking in, I want to believe that there's going to be a little extra juice for this game. Uh, Kyle was fired. His dad was fired. Yeah, they drafted RG3 when they didn't want him. Yeah, there's a big history there. Big history there. So, yeah, we get it. The focus is not on the past, the focus is on the future, and the focus is the right now and winning this game now and that type of stuff. But it's always, hey, when these games come up, we go back into the archives, we start pulling highlights, we start pulling clips from the past about these games, and it's cool to see Trent's journey and how far he's come and what he's been able to do up until this point. What's this say?
Fucking Trey. Trey, what do you have to say for the people of Santa Claus? Santa Trey. Santa Trey. Appreciate you, bro. Thank you, bro. Oh my God, you don't get another speaker?
I don't know if Trey got him all speakers.
What do you have to say for the people of Santa Claus? Santa Trey. Santa Trey. Appreciate you, bro. Thank you, bro. Oh my God, you don't get another speaker?
I think he got all them speakers. I think it was more than just the offensive line. I think he got everyone's speakers. Yeah, everyone on the team. Everyone on the team got a Sonos speaker. So not just the O line. Everyone got one. That's dope. So Santa Trey handing out gifts. What a swell guy. Getting everybody hooked up for the holidays. New Sonos speakers. Good stuff. But anyways, man, I want to whoop this team. I don't like Dan Snyder. I don't like him. I don't like him at all. Uh, and this week was a reminder of how much I don't like him. And would love some sweet justice for our boy Trent Williams and just everything he's been through. And hopefully we can get Dan Snyder to sell the team soon. That would be That would be fantastic. He is the worst owner in sports. So would love to see it. Oh, we got Australia. We got Australia checking in. Let's go. Moving to Alaska. How are you moving to Alaska? What's up in Alaska? You gold miner? Are you a real 49er? That's crazy. But definitely looking forward to this game. We'll do our prediction Friday tomorrow. Prediction Friday. And yeah, all that good stuff. If you guys have any questions that you want to, oh, there we go. There's a question. Ooh, here we go. Now we're talking. What is my favorite Christmas movie? Whoo! I don't know. I might need your help in the chat. Drop your favorite Christmas movies in the chat. This is a tough one. I gotta say, Elf is up there. I'm a big Will Ferrell guy, so Elf is definitely up there. I have a hard time picking one. Elf is up there. The Grinch with Jim Carrey is absolutely up there. I would agree. Home Alone, Jingle All the Way, one of my favorites growing up as a kid. That's a hard one. I might have to go top 3. Shout out to the homie. Jesse, what's up, Jesse? He says, Brad started a new career. Congrats on your new career, man. We've missed you around these parts. But he says, me and wifey wanted to say Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays to you and the beautiful, blessed family that you have. Shout out to Jesse. Shout out to wifey. Good to always see you around these parts, my guy. And same goes to you too. Appreciate you guys. Chat legends. Let's see what other. I still don't know if I can consider Die Hard a Christmas movie. Like, I know, I understand that it's set during Christmas and it's around Christmas time. And I love Die Hard. Never seen Die Hard? Ooh. We got a homework assignment for Josh. You got to put on Die Hard. Got to. I might have to now just to make sure. I haven't watched Die Hard in a while. But I don't know if we can call it a Christmas movie. Oh, here we go. Bruce Willis said it wasn't a Christmas movie. Kind of wild. He doesn't know he made the best Christmas movie. See, that's the thing. It's like I get it. It's set around Christmas. There's Christmas vibes to it, but I don't feel like it's a Christmas movie. I don't know. We'll see. I might have to rewatch it and come back to you with a newer outlook on if that's a Christmas movie or not. Right now, I'm leaning towards no. It's a good action movie. I would call it an action movie. I don't know if I'd say that. Does Kittle believe it's a Christmas movie? I see. I don't know. Uh, Home Alone classic. Home Alone classic. Bad Santa phenomenal. Um, haven't watched Bad Santa in a while. Might gotta watch that one. These are Christmas Vacation. Watch Rambo. I'm not. I don't know. Not feeling Rambo this time of the year. Yeah, man, there's a lot of good ones. I would have to say my top 3, Tim Allen Santa Claus. Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good one too. Um, that's a great one. I don't know. If I had to give like a top 3, Elf is definitely up there. The Grinch is definitely up there. Number 3, I could be swayed a couple different directions, but that's a good question. Great question. Appreciate you guys. Appreciate you, Joshua. Great question, Josh. Gremlins. Is Gremlins a Christmas movie? To be brutally honest with you, I may have seen that movie like one time and it hasn't been recent. So I may need to rejog my memory. A Christmas Story. Again, I feel like Christmas Stories is one of those movies that I've watched like as a kid, but I just never really, I don't know, just never really watched it a whole lot. Favorite Christmas dinner dish? I don't know. I feel like, Thanksgiving, it's very like regimented with like what we eat in regards to it being like Thanksgiving food. I feel like so like back in the day, like when my grandparents got together, my aunts and my uncles, when we were all in the one spot and like everyone was around. Um I remember my grandma would make like these Swedish meatballs, like there's old school recipe that she had. We would do like a sandwich buffet for like Christmas Eve. Like so, but all like huge spread, literally make whatever you want, all these sides. So I didn't have like a traditional like ham and or turkey or whatever it may be. Like we had like this like crazy like make your own kind of sandwich set up with like all these different things. So that's what I remember from back in the day. Definitely some of the traditions have changed since, people have moved, others have passed on and all those different stuff. But that's kind of what I remember from that day. What do you guys do? Oh, we see steak and lobster, tamales. That sounds fire. Oh, some lasagna. You could go. That's a good thing about Christmas is you could go a bunch of different ways. I don't think that it's like as standardized as uh Thanksgiving, like turkey stuffing, mashed potatoes, like pretty much what you're feeling like. Prime rib. Can't go wrong with prime rib. Menudo. I'm gonna be honest. I'm not sure I've ever had menudo. I'm not sure I've ever had it. Prime rib and lobster. I had a weird thing. Like I crave lobster, like I crave lobster or I crave crab, but I don't like it. Isn't that weird? Like I get this idea in my head that I'm like, ooh, this lobster or this uh crab looks good, looks delicious. But then I eat it. I'm like, I don't like this. But it's weird. It's a weird situation. It's like I somehow crave it, but I don't like it. Chinese food on Christmas. Hey man, I like it. I like it. Uh, drop it in the chat since we're kind of on the Christmas theme. Um, what is your most favorite Christmas gift that you've ever gotten from Santa, from your parents? I mean, Hanukkah gifts, whatever. What is the gift, whether you're a kid, adult, I don't care. What was that gift that you got that just it was like you think back to your childhood or whatever and you're like, "Yeah, Christmas. That's what I'm talking about." Santa. Ooh, the N64. Whoo, what games? What games came along with the N64? Hopefully GoldenEye. GoldenEye, goated. Oh, Gold Niners jacket, fire. Guitar Hero, bro, Guitar Hero. I love that game entirely too much. Way too much. I like that game. Turbo Man doll. Isn't Turbo Man from Jingle All the Way? PlayStation 5. So that's a newer one. Motorcycle when I was 10. That's a good gift. Oh, the PS1 back in the day. Xbox 360 for the OGs. Game Boy Color. Bro, bringing me back. Bringing me back to the old days. Mel, sorry to hear that for you, my guy. Yes, GoldenEye. GoldenEye, Super Mario. Ooh, Redline Bicycle. Yeah. Super Mario 64, Mario Kart. Yeah, those were the good times, man. That's when life was easy. We were chilling. Asked for Heelys as a kid, got a pair of roller skates instead. I still haven't forgiven my parents. Hey man, I would hold that over them as well. Heelys were, bro, I had Heelys. Did you ever have soaps? Do you ever have the soaps were legendary, but I had Heelys too. And roller skates and Heelys are not even close to being the same. And Heelys were a vibe. Like you'd be walking to like your class in middle school. You're just walking, then you just start scooting. Heelys were absolutely a vibe. When I was a kid, it was a PlayStation 2. Clothes, just clothes. G Money said, got a 80 Jerry Rice jersey and a 21 Sanders jersey where the love started for the Niners in the 90s. I mean, that's a great way to like really indoctrinate your kids into the Niner fandom as you start feeding them jerseys, and then they start to make that connection. Like, oh, I got that guy's jersey. Oh, that guy's playing really good on the TV. Like, they're like, oh, I like this. Dreamcast. We used to be crazy. I got a lot jersey back in the 80s for Christmas. I got a like a whole like Joe Montana, like I got a Joe Montana jersey. I had the Niner helmet and the Niner pants, and I got like the O lineman pads. Like I got a whole like Niner fit. I was Joe Montana with offensive line uh pads on my arms. It was fantastic. Original Game Boy, life changing. Facts. I got a Super Nintendo in '92 with Super Mario, Super Mario World, and Street Fighter 2. Didn't sleep for a couple days. Super Nintendo back in '92, man. I had a Super Nintendo too growing up. Um, that was fire. Before Call of Duty, there was dude, GoldenEye was the game. Like, I don't care. When you're talking about, first person shooters, GoldenEye was legendary. I got a new iPad mini when I was like 9, a guitar. Uh, I like this one. Got my brother wrapped in a giant box when he came back after being deployed from the army. I can't even imagine what that would be like. That would just be an emotional roller coaster. But that's awesome. That's a good one. As a kid, I always got clothes. You got the functional presents. Minecraft. Hey, I'm not gonna lie. I finally got on with my kids. They like Minecraft. Minecraft's kind of fun. I'm not gonna lie. When you just build random stuff, I could vibe with it. Nintendo, Super Smash Bros. I see that we're all kind of on the same wavelength here. It makes sense why we all vibe. It makes sense why we all vibe really well together. Mortal Kombat. Uh, oh man, we got to make up for that, Steven. We got to get you. We got to send you some presents, man. Make sure you feel taken care of. Got the 360 for Christmas, 3 games, good times. Rocky for the PS2. Last year I got a pink parallel Fred Warner 1 of 1 autograph rookie card. Wow. Let's see. What other stuff we got? Oh, Atari. Underoos. What are Underoos? I'm not sure I got Underoos. CBS 200 Honda Street Bike at 11. Dang, that's a dope gift. Got a CMC jersey for myself this year. Most of us are 90 kids, I assume. It kind of feels like we're a group of 90s kids. I was 89, so I was 80s baby, last of a dying breed, Diamondback. I always loved getting bikes for Christmas. That was the best. Parents would get us Niner Christmas tree ornaments. Steve Young, number 8 jersey. Still have my Joe Montana jersey, Wilson, and Jerry Rice and Steve Young. 49er Cardinal tickets 2013. Kaepernick got the ball with 25 seconds left and got us in field goal range to win 23-20. We got the 5th seed. That's a dope present right there. That's sick. When I was 7, I got a 200 Walmart gift card. I thought I was rich. Hey man, when you were 7, which was probably a couple years ago, $200 went a lot further back then. So for sure. Soaps Legend mounted a 10-foot stick of PVC to a 2. We did that all the time. We would build our own rails with the PVC pipes all day. Good to see. Good to see. Good to see us. We got some younger generation in here. We got some younger SDS, of course. But it's wild that we're now like we're the old heads. It's a wild situation, you know, being the old heads now. We're the what are we? Like the mature millennials or whatever the hell we are now. Crazy how time flies. So it's fun to hear what you guys got. Switching it up a little bit. So we understand what it is. We've got Prediction Friday coming up tomorrow. So we'll do a little bit deeper See you later, No Name. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. We will be doing our full prediction show tomorrow because it is Prediction Friday. So we will do all that good stuff. We'll do a deeper dive. We'll talk more football for No Name. We get it. Not everyone wants to vibe like us, and No Name's only here for football, and that's okay. We understand that not everyone's here to vibe like us, so that's all right. So come back tomorrow, and we will be talking strictly 49ers versus Commanders matchup and everything that comes along with it. It's cool hearing what you guys would get from back in the day. Always good to know you get to know you guys a little bit more. It's okay. Hey man, we gotta have some Grinches around here and all that good stuff. Oh, Dana's back. Dana's back. She says, "Aloha, Brad. I tossed some idiot politicians from DC for the sacrifice for Niners not to be lulled in this game because they already won the West and remind the Niners to play hard, full throttle." Thank you for the weekly sacrifice, Dana. We appreciate it. And aloha and mahalo to you, as always. And we appreciate the sacrifices to the island gods for great blessings upon the San Francisco 49ers. So we thank you for your services always. All that good stuff. But I appreciate you guys. We'll get out of here for now. Thursday Night Football tonight. Hopefully you got championship aspirations in your fantasy leagues and all that good stuff. But appreciate all you guys for tuning in as always and all that good stuff. Yeah, we did talk about Kinlaw already. Kinlaw will be back. That is some of the best news from today. So definitely looking forward to it all. Moving forward. Oh, we even got Javon posting on Instagram for the first time. Let's see, what did Javon say? I got Instagram up right here, so I'll show you and then we'll bounce out. Javon Kinlaw. So Javon said mental endurance. I'ma get mines. Love to see it. So boys are gonna eat. And we like that. But we're out of here for today. Appreciate you guys as always. Smash that like button on your way out. We'll be back for Prediction Friday tomorrow. And until then, you guys be safe. Wishing you nothing but luck in your fantasy playoffs moving forward. We're out of here. Peace. Smash that like button if you haven't already. Love to see it.